That is good.
All right, we are on light side turn 2. Justin appears to be in his draw phase.
Yeah, he's got a monster of a hand, 22 cards. Stubbly's holding 14, so they're both taking their time.
It looks like in Conor's first or second turn, he would have played PV, pulled the system. He's got now both his Starkiller base sites. He's got EPP Kylo. It looks like he didn't have to use his interrupt to pull a shuttle to download him. And he's probably just drawn a few cards, and then he saved 7 active, it appears.
Yeah, and he had a use pile pull after deploying Kylo. His all wings combo.
He's foregoing most of the traditional map starts that would have like alert my Star Destroyer and instead foregoing those for a battle order first strike.
Yeah, so I haven't seen any of this map deck yet, so I'm going to be learning as we go.
I saw bits and pieces of it, and I know it seems to have multiple Stormtrooper patrols in it in strategic reserves. So it's inspired by the map of old, but working within the new parameters.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, there's an EPP Kylo rather than the regular Kylo and Kylo's lightsaber.
Scott,
and
sizing us, I might try and size Greg and I down just a little bit.
The fact that Stubbly grabbed all wings combo at the first opportunity makes me think he's going to be relying on his commands to keep him alive in space long enough to push through some other ground damage.
Completely agree. Interesting that he's, to your point, only going on Kylo EPP. I mean, the card efficiency is there. And sometimes if you're not as strong on ground, the text on OG Kylo can be a liability.
Yes.
I also think this shows that Conor has probably played this matchup extensively and knows the immunity on the finalizer is probably not too tough for Justin to crack with spin, and he's just going to go ahead and load it up with 4 guys.
Yeah, I did see in chat earlier, JNap said that Stubbly's Legend had been testing well against, or Stubbly's map had been testing well against Legend. So I'm curious, very curious to see how this plays out. I think traditionally Legend is favored because it can, it's got versatility with its characters and it can stack the system as hard as it wants. It's hard for map to stand up to that in traditional builds. So I'm very curious to see what trick Stubbly has to stay alive in space.
Drew points out that he's played this matchup a lot since he and Justin have played private games, so it's likely they have actually played this matchup previously. As we see the second Octo site come out here, Conor's going to get a free shield pull.
Yeah, and so Justin's already got command grabbed. His plan, I mean, it looks like this is going to come down to a fight over the Jakku system. That's the only battleground system that's going to be on the table. And as I say that, Justin goes Tantive to Starkiller base. So maybe just the first move and how this is going to play out. But I imagine Justin is thinking that he can't win this game without some significant fight in space. That's why he's got command grabbed. He's going to try to burn through those and get multiple battle destinies through at some point in the game. He may also have something like a sense where he tries to cancel command. But for right now, it looks like he's going to set up away from Jakku at the Starkiller system, making it a battleground with Tantive. He throws Poe on it, Aldo on it.
Do we know, are both of these players 3-1?
Yeah, well, you can see. So the line Justin's taking is he's not ready to commit a whole stack of ships up against Finalizer just yet. So instead, he's going to set up his own battleground site and system and deploy Menace Fades. May have been one of the cards he was looking for. So now instead of facing a drain of 3 and 2, he's only looking at drains of 1 and 1. So he's taking some of the pressure off by setting up this way. He is giving Stubley an opportunity to attack him now. Stubley's got a 14 card hand still. He's got another used pile pull or two available to him if he has Phasma and Snoke in there, and he's got 17 force active. And he's going to go right for the site, no hesitation.
Yeah, with a 13 card hand and plenty of force, we'll see what all Stubley's able to amass here. I'm also interested to see what his mix of troopers is.
Yeah, so the patrols, we know that there are multiple patrols in there to cancel drains with strategic reserves. And you can see he also has some of the other first order troopers, the unique ones. At least he's got 9s, and then Phasma. We know Phasma is going to be in the deck to take advantage of the used pile pulls and add destinies. Seems like Mara may have been his used pile pull there. So otherwise, you'd go Mara first and then Phasma.
I would assume so. Yeah, you want to spend as much force as you can before you start searching your use pile. So odds are he went there. We'll see if he has an answer for this react.
Yeah, looks like he's got a Lano combo to cancel Finn reacting for free and send Finn back to Justin's hand. Justin will flip and stop the 2 weapons from firing.
Even with that, I mean, obviously stopping the weapons is very helpful. He's obviously down by a ton of power here.
Yeah, he's down 12 power, and Stubley's set up to draw 2 Destiny at the moment to Justin's 1. So we'll see him swing. Cancel a second draw and protect himself.
Greg, they've lost our audio. Scott, are you there? Okay, audio's back. Okay. So we were commenting about how 9 would be able to cancel the saber draw, and then that it's just going to come down to battle destinies here to see how much damage is able to be pushed through.
Yeah, so low draws from Stubley, a 1 and then a 3. Moff Gideon is interesting to see. Just another guy to pull out more troopers, so we can expect a lot of troopers. Maybe that makes me think there might be a Stormtrooper garrison in there from Stubley going for a home run kind of play. And then Justin draws a 1. So yeah, low draws. That's going to leave Justin down 15.
And he's got what, 9 in forfeit?
Yeah, 9 in forfeit. So that's either a Hujix or he's peeling some.
He has such a massive hand, I wouldn't be surprised to see him have the Hujix, but you never know.
Right. When he was fishing for something with 22 cards in hand, I'm guessing Hujix or a puller was among those. Also, it's possible we missed in the first turn or two, Justin playing a puller for it. So
very possible. So there it is. Not surprising.
Hujix, and he had to use 1 to play it thanks to that first strike combo that Stubley started.
Yeah, and when you see Stubley starting that, he's intending to start battles. That's going to yield him a good amount of force over the course of the game.
Yep. The other deck that is known for starting that effect would be Court, which is, you would see kind of a similar setup here where they'd be at a site and a system. And so they're setting themselves up to cover the battle order portion of the card, and then they're fighting often to take advantage of the free battles and making light side use force in order to play interrupts. Maybe you catch them without anything saved for that Hujix, and then it's game over.
So Conor here pulls resistance. Limit is drain liability to 2.
Yep, Justin flipped last turn, so now he's got a drain of 3 there, but resistance will cap it.
And I would anticipate we're going to see battle. Oh, in fact, we will see it since it is on the starting effect.
Well, thankfully, neither player tried to pull the defensive shield battle plan battle order.
That has happened in many games where I've been playing court.
Yep.
All right, so Justin's going to reestablish ground here with solo, and because of his Hujix in the last pile, at least he's not super exposed if Conor is able to.
Well, if he is using the Hujix as a result of a battle at the site, solo is not going to be at the site anymore in order to play it.
Yeah, Casey, it's unique, so I don't think you can pull it again.
All right, so we see Han, another copy of Ray, and BB-8 go down to the Maz's castle site.
All right, Scott, I got your message. No worries. So he's going to reestablish a ground foothold, put a little pressure on with BB-8, which also, I assume Ray is his agent. We missed that at the start of the game.
Yeah. Stubbly flipped back the last turn when Justin deployed Ray, and this turn. So that must have been the case.
Scott, can you mute yourself on Discord? I don't know if I'm getting feedback now. I hope so. Thank you. We're fumbling our way through this. The good news is it wasn't coming through on this stream. So, Greg, from this board position, I mean, I feel like if I was Conor, I would be fairly pleased with the way this game has gone so far.
Yeah, even with Menace Phase turning off all those drain bonuses, he does seem like he's in a pretty good spot. He's got 16 force active, 12 cards in hand. He just hit Justin for 3 pings, and I think there's a reasonable chance we see him come down and fight again. Stubbly definitely seems like he's in the driver's seat right now. He's got a Stormtrooper patrol in his lost pile. Good board position, full hand, full stack of force to use, and Justin's sitting on 9 cards in his lost pile. I mean, he does have more damage on the board right now with his objective giving him drain bonuses. He's got a drain of 3 at the system, drain of 2 at the site, BB-8 pinging. The drain of 3 is going to get capped at 2, assuming no changes to the board state. But I mean, that was some quick board establishment by Stubbly. Right now, he's ahead, and he can kind of dictate the next interactions in this game.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see. I mean, I assume with 12 cards, he's going to have plenty of gas in his hand. But sometimes you end up with a hand with just like a few dudes and a bunch of tricks. I mean, he already did spend a decent amount of resources going down to Jakku. So, depending on, like, he could have a hand that's very aggressive. He also may just not. We know that Gideon and another character were drawn for Destiny on the prior turn.
Yeah, and that was Grievous, which right now, I mean, the only lightsaber I think we would expect to see on Justin's side is maybe if he's playing a Qui-Gon's lightsaber or something. But Grievous, not too scary. He's in the deck. He would have to burn a command to pull him out. I guess the thing that could set up Stubbly for a really good turn this turn is if he has Snoke or something in hand to get another use pile pull. You might be right that with everything that he's spent so far, maybe this is just a turn where he has to peel back a little bit. Do we know if he's playing any other Star Destroyers in his deck here?
I don't.
He's going in for Kylo's shuttle, which was in there, which he probably knew from last turn, looking at the use pile that was there. So he's got a shuttle. Shuttle goes to the Starkiller base, the exterior site there.
Interesting.
There's Snoke. Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought maybe he would go. I guess shuttle's pretty weak to any other space that Justin has in his hand. So I guess we might see Kylo go on the shuttle and fly up, and Finalizer move over to sit in front of Tantive.
It seems likely. Then they're going to they could turn into just a bit of a cat and mouse game, and that turns off Conor's ability to pay to drain, at least for a turn, if Justin moves away.
Yep.
So it's interesting. He did have the Snoke in hand, but obviously it seems like he didn't have enough gas to warrant pushing the issue over against Justin's ground presence.
No, and it was 5 damage that he's facing down, so maybe he feels like I mean, yeah, you're right. It must have been due in part to whatever he's holding his hand, but he feels like space is the better avenue to confront Justin right now.
And if they do get into that cat and mouse, there could be then he just moves the Finalizer back, and there's a turn then when Finalizer's in front of Tantive 4 at Jakku, but he then, when he moves back, he'll have ships and be able to drain and not allow him to satisfy Menace Fate.
Mm-hmm.
And so over the course of the game, depending on how these moves happen, that could play out in Conor's favor. So he brings the shuttle inside, and it seems to be transferring Kylo around.
And Justin's asking in chat if Rescue in the Cloud stops Gravity Shadow.
It should, correct? Yes.
The answer would be yes. Yeah, as long as it's a valid target for Rescue, right? It's got to be ability less than 5.
Mm-hmm.
He asked Conor if he can just tell him if he has it in his hand. It's I don't know. It's a strategy that might be worthwhile.
So we actually Drew just mentioned in the chat that maps didn't seem to him as a great meta call, and we even discussed it recently on one of our team calls in the last week, and everyone sort of talked about it for a little bit and decided it didn't seem more attractive than any of the other dark sides we were considering. But Drew's point about Tantive 4 definitely has seen much less play in the index recently. We've seen much less No Idea, which could pull it. Obviously, we've seen a big drop down in the amount of throne room being played. So it's in the occasional legend deck. It's probably in some Hitco builds, but it's not nearly as ubiquitous as it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And funny enough, it was kind of a meta call that I think made it a little more relevant, which was the abundance of these Darth Maul, the new Maul and spaceship weapon decks kind of popping up. One interaction that's really strong there is Maul stopping Theron Net from preventing weapon destinies from being canceled. So a good natural counter to that is playing Bale, who prevents Darkseid from even targeting the ship he's on with weapons.
Did the stream just drop the game? Scott? Paging Scott.
Yep, that happened. Okay, so we saw Justin pulled General Leia with a leadership